A number of African countries have developed with the help of European and Asian countries through different trade partnerships and agreements. More agreements are still being negotiated, with the most recent being economic partnership agreements between the East African Community and the European Union. This is in addition to the Continental Free Trade Area, which a number of African countries are yet to be party to. These partnerships come with different terms and conditions that legal experts say need to be approached with maximum care.
As Africans, we ourselves must be able to ask ourselves the tough questions. What is it that we want? Okay, that's the beginning. When we know what we want, that will formulate what sort of strategy we'll employ to any particular sort of proposed partnership that comes.
There's need for us to negotiate terms that are favorable. You see, when the Chinese come to negotiate with Africa, they bring their best minds, their legal minds, and they negotiate in the interest of China. Same cannot be said about Africa. We send in a minister, just with this permanent secretary, and maybe with his family. They go to China, and they are negotiating a $2 billion contract. That's not acceptable.
This also emphasized the need for African countries to consider working as a united force to create a big market as the only way they can negotiate a better deal.
First of all, need to be united. That's point number one. And then point number two, we must stop this thing of thinking that everything that's coming outside Africa is what is good for us. A lot of the things that are good for us are actually things that will be homegrown, or things that are homegrown. Okay, and then also we need to stop looking at ourselves in a very different way, in a hostile way.
And with the recent dominance that China is having in Africa through its financial and infrastructure investments, lawyers said there is need to look at the opportunities therein, take advantage of them, and use them for Africa's good.
One of the likely dangers is that Africa may end up becoming a dumping ground if African countries cannot respond with commodities that can compete with Ghana, with China on the African continent.
Once we take advantage of those, there's lots of downstream industries that can benefit from, say, they want to build a highway, cement makers, casual laborers, like the downstream industries, they'll definitely benefit.
This comes on the sidelines of the Kampala Business Conclave organized by Ebi and David Uganda, themed on expanding businesses and trade in Uganda. They combine the effect of EPA, CFTA, and China Belt and Road Initiative.
I'm happy with initiatives like these that bring African business leaders together to interact and find tailor-made, home-bred solutions that work for the various unique African business challenges we are faced with, and to provide an opportunity for Africans to work with Africans, because in the end, we all have the same objective.
Sampolona Haima, NBS, live at 9.